In today's video, we will look at where to stay in Rome and the 8 best areas to stay in Rome for tourists. Before we go straight into the video, please subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Rome is a vast city. It is absolutely packed with ancient historical sites, things to see and do. The majority of the city's historical treasures are located quite centrally, so if you want to explore all the major sites easily, you should look at staying in one of the central parts of town. The first area to look at when it comes to where to stay in Rome is the historic centre. The historic centre is the best area to stay in Rome for first-time travellers because it has a super central location and it offers many choices in accommodation. If you stay here, you will be located in the middle of action, within walking distance to Rome's top tourist attractions, as well as many restaurants, bars and shops. The historic centre is the heart of the Eternal City, located just to the west of the modern centre, on the banks of the river Tiber. The area spreads out around the old Roman Forum and is absolutely packed with fabulous Renaissance architecture and a number of historical sites. The Pantheon is one of the oldest and most impressive things to see in the historic centre of Rome. This ancient church dates back to the 2nd century when it was built by the Emperor Hadrian. The Pantheon is a stunning structure with a unique domed roof, and it is still used as a functioning church today. Perhaps the best way to experience the central historical area is just to explore it on foot, strolling around the beautiful ancient squares, visiting places, museums and fountains as you come across them, and stopping for a coffee in one of the scores of little restaurants and cafes around the area. The Piazza Navona is a particularly attractive square that contains the stunning church San Agnese in Agone, Fountain of Neptune and Museum of Rome. The square was built on the site of ancient Domitian Stadium. There is a Christmas market here in December. Within easy walking distance from Piazza Navona, you'll find the centre of ancient Rome, Campo de' Fiori. Literally means field of flowers. This is a square with a daily outdoor market for vegetables, fruits, flowers and even souvenirs. There is a statue of a philosopher, Giordano Bruno, in the middle of the piazza, who was burnt here in the 17th century. Nearby, the Jewish ghetto is where you can enjoy the best of Italian and kosher food. The ghetto was home to a very important Jewish community, built in 1555 in Rione Sant'Angelo. The historic centre is also famous for its beautiful narrow cobbled streets. Via Giulia is one of the charming streets in Rome. This 1-kilometre-long road was designed in the 1500s by Bramante to ease access to the Vatican. There are some fantastic places to eat here, including fabulous pizzerias, incredible gelato ice cream, and some splendid little taverns and wine bars. All tourist attractions are located within walking distance apart. You can easily explore on foot, saving money on taxi and public transport. In addition, Rome's historic centre also offers a wide range of accommodation options, ranging from luxury 5-star hotels to budget backpack hostels. The second area in the list of the best areas to stay in Rome is the Piazza di Spagna. Piazza di Spagna, or Spanish Square in English, is one of Rome's most visited and famous squares. Spanish Square is located in the city centre, within walking distance to Trevi Fountain and Borghi's Gardens. The areas around Spanish Steps and Piazza di Spagna are wealthy and attractive parts of Rome. They are delightful places to stay if you want luxury hotels, designer shopping and fine dining restaurants. Piazza di Spagna is so famous for many reasons. First, the square is home to the Spanish Steps, which is a grand and sweeping staircase that you will recognize from any number of movies. These Baroque-style public stairs were built in the 18th century to connect Piazza di Spagna to the Trinità dei Monti church. Additionally, Piazza di Spagna is home to some stunning statues and sculptures. There is an authentic Egyptian ancient obelisk and a spectacular fountain. Finally, Piazza di Spagna is well known for its stylish luxury shops. Via dei Condotti and Via del Corso nearby are the main shopping drags in Rome and are dedicated to high fashion with brands like Gucci, Bulgari and Fendi. There are some fabulous restaurants around Via Veneto. A visit to Harry's Bar is a tourist favourite since it was immortalised in the movie La Dolce Vita. Enjoy a dinner at a Michelin-starred restaurant like La Terraza, or grab a morning coffee at the historical Antico Café Greco. Spanish Square is an excellent place to stay if you're with family, since you have a large park and zoo nearby. Villa Borghese Gardens have been open to the public since 1903. The garden has a stunning ornate landscape that contains spectacular buildings and the excellent Borghese Gallery. The Galleria Borghese has splendid sculptures and paintings, including works by Caravaggio, Bernini, Raphael, and Titian. If its art gallery is not enough, you can visit the Museo Carlo Bilotti and Canonica with various works of art. Inside the garden, you will find Villa Borghese Zoo with more than 1,000 animals. It's a great attraction for the whole family, no matter what age you are. The Spanish Square is mostly pedestrianised. You can explore on foot, but because there are lots of cobbled streets, make sure to bring a good pair of shoes. Several buses and the metro serve this area. There is Metro Line A at stops Barberini and Spagna. The third area in the list of the best areas to stay in Rome is Trastevere. Trastevere is a Roman suburb on the west bank of the river Tiber, on the other side of the river Tiber from Rome's old centre. Trastevere is one of the most authentic areas in Rome. It is a beautiful central neighbourhood and less crowded than historic centre. Trastevere is within a 30-minute walk from Vatican City, Colosseum, and the historic centre. If you want lively nightlife, hip, bohemian, and inviting part of town, Trastevere is a great option. This part of Rome is also an excellent choice for travellers on a budget. Trastevere is packed with good value traditional restaurants, wine bars, and clubs. Be sure to check out its famous thin and crispy pizza, fresh from a wood oven. Rome is a city built famously on 7 hills, and Janiculum Hill is one of them. While you are in Trastevere, you should climb up here and enjoy spectacular views across the city. Grab a drink and enjoy the lovely sunset. This district is one of the most exciting parts of Rome to explore on foot. There are charming cobbled streets and piazzas full of places to eat, drink, and shop. People watching in the Piazza Santa Maria is an excellent way to pass the time. Here you will find Rome's oldest Marian church, Basilica of Santa Maria, and the fountain is a meeting place. The Sunday Porta Portese flea market opens from 7 until 2. It is one of the largest flea markets in Europe. There are hundreds of stalls. You can find vintage clothing and antiques. Ponte Sisto Bridge is one of the popular bridges in Rome, connecting Campo di Fiori with Trastevere. In the evening, you'll find musicians and street performers entertaining here. Trastevere is packed with small picturesque cobbled streets, traditional houses, and green spaces. Many of Trastevere's cobbled streets are called vicoli. Stroll around these vicoli and explore more about the neighbourhood. The fourth area in the list of where to stay in Rome is Prati and Vatican. Prati, along with Rome Historic Centre, are some of the safest places to stay in Rome due to its close proximity to the Pope's residence. Prati is one of the wealthiest neighborhoods of Rome, and it is a popular shopping spot for high-end brands. The Vatican, the home of the Pope and the seat of the Catholic Church, is a wholly independent state from the rest of Italy and the smallest country in the world. Once you enter the Vatican, one of the first things that you'll see is the Swiss guards, who with their spectacularly colourful uniforms are very hard to miss. The majority of Vatican City is closed to tourists, but an exception is St. Peter's Basilica, a stunning church that is topped by a vast dome designed by Michelangelo. One of the best things to do on your visit here is to climb the steps to the top of the dome for a fantastic view, but not one for people with a fear of heights. Outside of the basilica is the famous St. Peter's Square, with ornate fountains and a prominent obelisk in the middle of the square. The other main parts of the Vatican that are open to tourists are bundled together as the Vatican Museums. These are a treasure trove of antiquities of the Catholic faith. The most famous building here is Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel, with Michelangelo's spectacular ceiling art. If you would like to explore elsewhere in the Vatican, you'll need to plan ahead and book a tour directly with the Vatican 60 days before your trip. Alternatively, you can inquire at local travel agencies and you may be able to book a tour at shorter notice with a local tour agency. The Vatican neighbourhoods are also home to Castel Sant'Angelo, or Mausoleum of Hadrian, which was built by Roman Emperor Hadrian as a monumental tomb for his family, and later was used by the popes as a castle. Located right next to the Vatican City is the 14th historical district of Rome, Borgo. The area is very popular with tourists because of the Vatican, and you will find excellent tourist infrastructure, including lots of hotels and guest houses catering to most budgets. Prati is a charming residential neighborhood with wide boulevards, Art Nouveau buildings, and high-end shopping streets. Prati is a white-collar neighborhood made of offices, barracks, and courthouses. It is a good base for those who want to stay away from the hustle and bustle of the city centre, but still close to all the major Roman sites. It is a large district with plenty of accommodation to choose from. The main attraction in the Prati neighborhood is the most well-known shopping street, Colla di Rienzo, with many high-end design shops, cool restaurants and bars. Some important piazzas in Prati are Piazza Cavour houses, the Supreme Court, Piazza Risorgimento. They are packed with wine bars, live music venues and restaurants. The fifth area in the list of the best areas to stay in Rome is Monti and Colosseum. Located near Colosseum and Piazza Venezia, Monti is the best area to stay in ancient Rome because it was the place where the gladiators lived, far away from the rich Romans in ancient times. It was regarded as a dangerous district at one time, even in more modern times, but today this hipster hotspot is home to many artists, offers fine restaurants and vibrant nightlife. The main attraction in the Monti neighborhood is the fountain at Piazza della Madonna dei Monti, a good spot to enjoy coffee, wine and people watching. The 100 AD Trajan's Market and the old cobbled street Via Urbana with lots of artisan shops, restaurants and attractive boutique hotels. You'll be able to see the magnificent Colosseum from many of its streets. However, the best view of this wonderful structure is from Celio Park. The Santa Maria Maggiore and St. Peter in Chains Church are both in Monti, as is Michelangelo's Moses sculpture. Colosseo is the area of Rome that surrounds the ancient Roman Colosseum, one of the city's most impressive sites. Colosseo is a central part of the city, just south of a modern centre and east of a historical centre. The Colosseum is a place you really should visit on your trip to Rome. This spectacular amphitheatre is incredibly well preserved, given that it dates back to the 1st century AD. The Colosseum was the entertainment centre of ancient Rome. It once seated up to 50,000 spectators who watched gladiatorial combats, animal fights, and a range of entertainments that would be seen today as bloodthirsty and barbaric. Close to the Colosseum is the ancient Roman Forum, which was the centre of power of the ancient Roman Empire. It's an atmospheric place to explore and contains many ancient structures like the Temple of Saturn and the Arch of Septimius Severus. The Colosseum area has several other places of historical interest that are well worth visiting, including the Arch of Constantine, built in the 4th century AD. Palatine Hill is close to the Colosseum and next to the old Roman Forum. It contains some fascinating old Roman villas. Surprisingly, given the sheer volume of ancient history in this area, Colosseo isn't the busiest area for tourists to stay in, since most people visit the Colosseum and the Forum on day trips. Colosseo is a good suburb in the centre of Rome if you want a quieter and more relaxed atmosphere than both the modern and historical centres. The 6th area in the list of the best places to stay in Rome is Roma Termini. Roma Termini, or Rome's Central Station, is the biggest train station in Rome. It is where most people pass through when coming to Rome by airplane. It's within walking distance to the sites of historic centre, Trevi Fountain, the Colosseum, as well as a short metro and bus ride to the Vatican City. Termini railway station is the best area to stay in Rome for one night because of the central location. It's very convenient for getting to the major sites and tourist attractions using the city's metro subway system. It offers easy access to the airport and other parts of the city because of its well-connected public transport. You can find some good value accommodation here, and there is a lot of choice of low to mid-range hotels, hostels, and guest houses. There are several interesting sites around the station, such as the National Roman Museum at Palazzo Massimo and the baths of Diocletian. Located just south of the Termini railway station, the districts of Esquilino and San Giovanni are central districts of Rome. Esquilino is the home to Rome's Chinatown, and there is some good value and delicious Chinese food to be had here. Even though this part of town isn't the most famous for historical sites, there are still some splendid things to see, including the Basilica of Santa Maria Maggiore. This church dates all the way back to the 9th century and is lavishly decorated in gold leaf. The central square of this district is called Piazza Vittorio. It's a lively and bustling place, excellent for shopping and people watching. If you're a keen shopper, you should also visit the enormous indoor Mercato Esquilino market, which has a particularly inviting food section. The 7th area in the list of the best places to stay in Rome is Tridente and Trevi Fountain. You are in the heart of tourist Rome if you choose Tridente as your base. It is the area between the Piazza del Popolo and Piazza Venezia. Here you will find the famous Trevi Fountain, and if you walk on, the Spanish Steps. Both appear in the list of top 10 things to see in Rome. The most famous Trevi Fountain is a stunningly ornate marble sculpture completed in the 18th century. The site of this fountain dates back far earlier than that though, since it was the endpoint of an ancient Roman viaduct. As you probably know, the saying goes that if you drop a coin in the Trevi Fountain, you will one day return to Rome. Think carefully before dropping 3 in though, since this apparently means that you will marry a Roman. Whether or not this is true, it's one of the classic bucket list things to do while in the city. The Piazza del Popolo Square, or the People's Square, is next to the Aurelian Walls and close to Porta del Popolo, formerly Porta Flaminia. It was the main entrance to Rome city during the Roman Empire. In and around People's Square stands Fontana dei Leoni and Santa Maria del Popolo, the Chichi Chapel by Raffaello, Santa Maria dei Miracoli, Santa Maria Montesanto, and Pincio Terrace. You can wander around its streets that start from a square, such as Via del Babuino, Via del Corso, and Via di Ripetta. You'll be spoilt for choice when it comes to fine dining, casual and more formal. For shopping is wonderful high-fashion boutiques like Gucci, Valentino, and Fendi, and all the architecture is impressive. You will find that accommodation can be more expensive than in other parts of Rome, but you will still find good value if you do your research. While you may not get a feel of local Rome, there are few other drawbacks if you choose Tridente as your base. The 8th area in the list of where to stay in Rome is Testaccio. Testaccio is located off of a main tourist path on the south side of the city. Formerly a working-class district, Testaccio was slowly transformed into a popular food destination, full of restaurants, bars and clubs. This is an excellent part of town if you want to sample everyday Roman life outside of the most touristy parts of the city. Testaccio was one of the Roman Empire's major trade hubs. You can find a small hill, Monte Testaccio, which is home to 53 million broken wine jars. The hill is set right next to the ancient Tiber River port and the warehouses. Testaccio is home to the covered market, Mercato Testaccio. Here you'll find all kinds of fabulous Italian produce at excellent prices. It's a great place to buy something authentic as a gift or just for yourself. The market is also a great place to enjoy top-quality Italian food at bargain prices in the cluster of cafes and restaurants surrounding the market. Located to the south of Testaccio is the Ostiense neighborhood. This former industrial district is some distance from the main tourist areas, but there are compensations. You will have a half-hour journey into the main Rome attractions each day, but your base offers a real feel of today's Rome, with great street art, vibrant nightlife and good food. Testaccio is a good area to find budget accommodation, since it's a little bit out of the centre. Prices are a bit lower, and you can find some real accommodation bargains. Now you have it. Where to stay in Rome and the 8 best areas to stay in Rome. Overall, Centro Storico is the best area to stay in Rome for first-time travelers due to its prime location. If you stay here, you will be located in the middle of everything, within walking distance to Rome's top tourist attractions, restaurants, bars and shops. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please subscribe to the channel for more videos like this.